Jesse Duplantis is a televangelist, and he got a little too comfortable with his position and all but admitted how big of a scumbag he is.
You know, I've owned 3 different jets in my life, and used them and just burning them up for the Lord Jesus Christ.
Televangelist Jesse Duplantis says God himself told him it's time for an upgrade.
He said, I want you to believe me for a Falcon 7X. So I said, okay.
A Falcon 7 jet like this one to preach to more people around the world. And he's asking his followers for the $54 million.
I really believe that if Jesus was physically on the earth today, he wouldn't be riding a donkey.
From his Louisiana headquarters, Duplantis is among a group of televangelists who preach that their wealth is God's will.
This preys upon the poorest people that want and need money badly, where they're told if they give money, God's going to bless them 100-fold.
Duplantis lives in a 35,000 square foot mansion, tax-free.
He's asking everybody who has less than he has to pay for this jet, and I don't get that, you know?
Fellow televangelist Kenneth Copeland recently bought a $36 million Gulfstream 5 jet.
Praise God. Isn't that good?
The two have commiserated about how they can't fly or pray with commercial airline passengers.
This dope-filled world,
right.
And get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
Right, that's exactly the
And it's deadly.
We asked Jesse Duplantis and his ministries for comment, but they declined to respond. So far, no indication whether he's received any contributions for his jet.
What an amazing story. What an amazing story, because it shows you how over time they get just so disconnected from regular people and the idea of logic and common sense. These are charlatan con men is what they are. But they took a step too far, and now the mask dropped, and everybody's like, oh shit. Man, these are some sons of bitches, aren't they? They're not really men of God. They're just trying to fucking hose us is what they're trying to do. So I love how you saw at the end there was a discussion between Kenneth Copeland, televangelist, and Jesse Duplantis. And this is when they were begging for money to get their own private jets. And they said, I can't fly commercial because you get in a tube with a bunch of dope-filled demons. So, in other words, the general public, the people who they claim to, want to save and care about, like Jesus would care about, that's what they really think about you. That, we're in a dope-filled world with a bunch of demons. I don't want to be on a regular airplane in a tube with a bunch of demons. Wow. I thought you were supposed to be, loving because you want to be like Jesus because Jesus is God, and so you need to follow in his footsteps. Pretty sure Jesus wouldn't be saying that, the general public are a bunch of demons. It's unbelievable that who can watch this and be like, yeah, you know what? These are the pastors that I think really have it nailed. And so they're all part of this thing called the prosperity gospel. And they touch on it there in this little piece where the idea is, oh, Jesus wants you to be rich. And more importantly, they really act like, no, Jesus really wants me to be rich. So that's what God wills, me being mega wealthy. So we have to make that happen. And that's totally in line with the philosophy of Jesus. Yes, the long hair, hippie, communist before communism existed was really in favor of rampant materialism and consumerism. Yeah, you nailed that one. He even went as far as to say Jesus wouldn't be riding a donkey if he was here today. Oh, really? What would he be doing? I don't understand. You want to fucking lay that out in more detail with me? Would he be hanging out with the Saudi princes that have a gazillion dollars and everything in the world? I mean, based on what? Based on what? How ridiculous is that? So, Kenneth Copeland did it. He bought a jet, and he was begging for the donations for the jet. Creflo Dollar was asking for it, too, and I think Creflo Dollar was asking for like $70 million or some ridiculous number so he could buy a jet. He's another prosperity gospel guy. And then now you have this guy. So, wow, all the people who preach the prosperity gospel really need these private jets, don't they? And I like how he even admitted, I've had 3 different private jets. I need a 4th. I mean, listen, you can get any kind of philosophy you want out of the Bible, out of the Quran, out of any holy book. You know, you can go through it and find, cherry pick and say, okay, leans in a conservative direction, this leans in a liberal direction. But when it comes to the prosperity gospel, you'd be hard pressed to find anything that insinuates that Jesus wants, people to be mega wealthy. That Jesus was some sort of capitalist or some shit. I mean, that's utter nonsense. Wasn't it in the Bible that they said something about there's a better chance of a camel passing through the eye of a needle than a rich person getting into heaven? But now all of a sudden these guys are like, Jesus wants me to be rich. Yahoo, bitch! Give me a 4th private jet, motherfucker! A 4th private jet. Who would donate to these guys? Who would donate to these guys? Listen, there are some great religious people around the world who are really doing the right thing. And, they're out there in fucking war-torn countries helping people. They're doctors, they're charity workers, they're feeding people, giving clothing to people. And there are some people who take a very positive message and spread it as a result of their religion and who really do great things in the real world. And then there's guys like this. I mean, these are probably middle-class people and poor people. And, they watch this and they're supposed to take their hard-earned money when they're working a 9-to-5. And, chances are they struggle paying the bills, whatever it may be, the rent, the mortgage, the car payment. They're supposed to listen to this and then give your greedy ass enough money to get a private jet. It's just unbelievable, man. They're such charlatans and they're such con men. So just know what this is and know what's going on here. Because, and I even think, what's his name? Is Joel Osteen a prosperity gospel guy too? He might be. Now he's the least shitty of these kinds of characters because he does try to most of the time give people a positive message, and he also stays away from like anti-gay stuff and being backwards on social issues and whatnot. Now these guys actually are anti-gay and are very right-wing overall politically, but what a gross, weird, Americanized perversion of what's supposed to be an open-minded, tolerant, leftist religious philosophy.